Why did the Thieves Guild break up? Well, there's always seems to be a rift between them. What's going on, YouTube? So we finally have information about our Golden Pursuit. We're going to also talk later about some things you should do with ESO Plus a couple of other things that are going on. But we might as well just jump straight into it. That way I keep this video from being too long. We now have a beautiful Golden Pursuit with some amazing rewards. 10,000 gold, a bunch of upgrade materials. We have some Seals of Endeavors, 500, 100 RIT vouchers, which is good value, 1,000 Seals of Endeavors, and a bunch of attunable stations. And what's even really nice is that some of these quests here, or these Golden Pursuits, give you RIT vouchers as well. So you only need to do 28 of these bad boys. I would also just make sure that you do the ones that give you actual RIT vouchers for doing them. There's a couple up there, a couple down here, and they're not really anything that's going to be very difficult. For example, enchant a piece of equipment. That's not really going to take up too much of your time. In fact, most of these are really not. You know, some of these are mining 20 jewel streams, 50 logs of wood, cut 250 resources from the overworld, deconstruct 50 items. None of these are really going to be very difficult. In fact, if you just do your daily writs, which I know a lot of people don't like doing, I get it. It's one of those things. You can still are going to complete the majority of these, especially the craft, X amount with any skill type thing. You're going to be doing that pretty significantly, doing your writs. And don't forget, there's an add-on that makes it so much easier to do your daily writs. Lazy Writ Crafter. You just press a button and then craft it. Just make sure you have enough inventory space. That's literally all you need to do on your end. Press a button and ensure that you have enough inventory space. Those are the only contributions that you need to make to this endeavor. Also have our Crown Pack sale and our ESO Plus. So a lot of you guys gave some fantastic tips on things to do with your ESO Plus, not the theater. Don't buy that house. A lot of you guys gave great suggestions on what to do with your ESO Plus because this is a great time period where you can get the majority of sets. Now, there was a conversation yesterday about the majority of good sets being in the game, being locked behind PvE content that is ESO Plus required. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that per se, because most of the best PvP sets in the game are all craftable sets, but especially if you want to get into high-end PvE content, it's great to have some good PvE sets. Let's talk about some general tips and things that you want to do in this time period. The very first easy essential thing you're going to do is head down to Alinor Way Shrine. It's right here inside of Alinor, and you're going to talk to this guy. He's going to teach you how to be a jewelry crafter. This is going to be very nice because it's going to allow you to do jewelry crafting writs across your characters just by talking to him and doing a quick and easy quest where you just pick up some dust, come back, and then craft some items. Very easy, very straightforward, and unlocks a permanent quest for you. Some other easy, essential things that I'd recommend is head down and do the first intro quest inside of the Gold Coast. That will give you the Blade of Woe, because you'll be joining the Dark Brotherhood, spoilers, when you go in there. And Hugh's Bane, if you go inside of there, complete the first quest there, you're going to be joining the Thieves Guild. They'll give you Thieves Troves at a better rate. And if you get far enough into the Somerset storyline, which I believe you'll have to get through the second into the third main mission, you'll join the Psijic Order, which will give you access to Psijic portals. So just by doing those quick quests on characters, you will unlock all of those things. Now, the Blade of Woe is basically just an insta-kill thing. It's kind of similar to feeding as a vampire, just gives you the ability to insta-kill an NPC that's not obviously like a 14 million boss. The Dark Brotherhood is pretty good for that. There's not really a reason you need to level up all of it, especially if you're on a bit of a time crunch with your ESO Plus. Hugh's Bane / Thieves Guild, the Thieves Troves, you could certainly level them up though, because that'll give you some better rewards when it comes to stealing stolen goods, which some people like to do as a free gold method. And the Psijic Order lets you see Psijic portals, which give you access to really good loot. The Psijic Order is also known to have a really good skill line with things like Race Against Time, Undo, Stopping Time, which are all pretty popular skills. So you can, as you complete the Somerset storyline from mission 2 into 3, you'll then gain access to a separate quest line through the Psijic Order, which you can go complete, which will give you access to those things. It's not the funnest skill line to level up, I will warn you. It's basically go collect 3 ham sandwiches every mission, but it's worth it. Next up is head to Solitude instead of becoming a bard. RIP that idea when this came out. Solitude can teach you how to become an antiquarian representative. which means that you can go and you can dig up, importantly, mythics. You can also get a bunch of furnishing items, a whole bunch of other garbage you don't have to worry about right now. But if you do that, you'll gain access to the ability to get mythics. You'll also gain the ability to get purple leads. So you join that and you get what's called excavation and scrying. Now, those are two very important skill lines in my opinion, because they give you access to get some really good things, and also will give you really nice things as well, like being able to see treasure chests with a bit of a highlight on them. So when you do that, you're going to gain access to some mythics. Before we talk about mythics, though, to level up your actual excavation and scrying, I would recommend going to Artaeum or any island that doesn't have any, crazy amounts of enemies on it. You could go to Stros Makai, you could go to Betnik, any island just generally. But the nice thing about Artaeum is there's no hostiles on here. Same if you were to go to Ivea, which also doesn't have any hostiles on it. You just sit here and farm green and purple leads until you could do purple leads. You do green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, or green, 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 green until you unlock blue, etc. Then you do purples. Purples are worth 5,000 gold. Every zone in ESO has one purple lead that's worth 5,000 gold. If you were to go and do every zone, you would net almost 250,000 gold. You will also unlock the Al-Esh coin, which is worth 100,000 gold. So it is worth it if you're interested, and I have videos I can link below if you're interested in those items, because it is free gold. If you play on console, that's a lot of gold. If you play on PC, that probably doesn't even buy you a drill wax these days in the economy. So whether or not that's a good investment of your time depends extensively if you play on console or PC. But if you do play on console, I highly recommend doing the purple leads in every zone in the Elder Scrolls Online, and then getting the Al-Esh coin, which I will link below if you're curious what I'm even talking about. That way we can focus on the next thing, and that is some essential mythics once you have this. I think Ring of the Pale Order will make your life extensively easier, especially with subclassing. You can go and do Fate Strand Arena on Veteran with Pale Order Ring, and any class has the ability to use jabs. You'll be hunky-dory. The hardest content for solo will be at your fingertips if you stack this with solo content, and it's really not that bad of a individual leads to go get. For example, a lot of these are dropping from relatively normal places. Delve bosses, world bosses, chests in Bankrai is one of the more annoying ones. Bad Man's Hollow's not super bad because it drops from any in there. And then there's one that you just pick up from the ground. So it's very easy to get. And if you can get to at least level 7 excavation and whatnot, I would recommend it highly. People also love the Oaken Soul Ring because it gives you all of these free buffs and then basically says, hey, you just can't bar swap. And people are like, I didn't want to bar swap anyway, Jake. And, that's up to you. I'm not here to comment on how good it is. I'm just here to tell you that it's exceptionally popular. People build whole archetypes around it. And it's not super bad. A lot of it drops from delve bosses, volcanic vents, more bosses, blacksmithing nodes, and then safe boxes and thieves troves and Murkmire. That one is definitely the annoying one, but it is not super bad comparatively to some of the other ones. Next up is Sea Serpent's Coil. Sea Serpent's Coil is actually really helpful. A lot of people also don't know that if you're at full health, you gain a 40% damage reduction. I know it says it there, and obviously you're reading that, but a lot of people don't realize that it's anytime you're at full health, so you can actually full heal yourself. You get that damage reduction again. But anywho, the actual ability to get this is definitely more annoying because you're going to have to do quest reward coffers, jewelry surveys. This is one that's a little bit more annoying, but definitely one to consider if you want to get into some PvP content. Harpooner's Wading Kilt is one of the more essential group play ones because basically as long as nothing's touching you, you're getting increased crit chance and crit damage. The only problem with this mythic is that if things are touching you inappropriately, then you're going to run into the issue where this mythic is not doing anything. So for certain 4-man content and trial content, this thing is the best in slot thing to get. And you can see here, it's a little bit annoying. I'm not going to lie to you and say that it isn't. Runes of Mazatoon is not known for being short, sweet, and fun. And things like Murkmire Foul fishing spots are not known to be exceptionally easy to spot. But we do have add-ons that make that a little easier now, so could be worse. Next up, we have the Velothi Mage Amulet. Now, this is a very, very popular mythic in today's day and age, especially for Arcanists. And it's not super bad, when it comes to dropping itself. Scrivener's Hall Trophy Room Chest is not, again, the most easy thing to do in the world. Daily reward coffers are not known for being super generous, but don't forget, you don't have to get the lead on the character that you're excavating it on. You can do daily reward coffers on all of your characters and then excavate it on the character who you want to excavate it on. And the rest of these are relatively straightforward, some world bosses, blah, blah, blah. And then you can get yourself a good mythic. And finally, Ring of the Wild Hunt. There are definitely some more mythics to focus on. You could look at Saint and Seducer. You could look at the Marken Ring, Malakaz's Band of Brutality. All of those are really more PvP focused though, and I figure if you're looking at those mythics, it's because somebody has recommended to you them on a build. So I'm focusing more on the PvE mythics and the utility ones because, for example, Ring of the Wild Hunt is just a really good one to have, especially when something new comes out in the game. For example, when scribing came out, right, it is so convenient to have Ring of the Wild Hunt. You can just sprint, sneak past everything with a stage 4 vampire, Ring of the Wild Hunt. You will literally save yourself probably 3 to 4 hours of questing, which is a long time that you can spend in Riften doing other things. So Ring of the Wild Hunt, a fantastic mythic for you to also go get and utilize. But there are other good mythics, and because there are so many sets and things to go through, if you have suggestions, put them below and I will work on having an updated pinned comment, so that way there's just a running list for new players without making this become exceptionally long. But as always, we do also have a fantastic Discord, so that way you can always ask questions on Discord, either to myself or others, because there are ones that are more niche. For example, Crypt Cannon, where you give your ult to other people around you, is definitely niche. It's more ball group and, 4 to 12 man content focused. So we're not going to focus on all those, but there are other good ones as well. Next up, monster sets. Battle Orcs from March of Sacrifices is one of the best PvP monster sets in the game. I highly recommend it for new players. It's a super easy proc set to use, and it is fantabulous. Zons is also good. It comes from Scalecaller Peak. It's definitely more of a PvE monster set, so you're not really going to be wearing a mythic with this bad boy, generally. But it is worth, the juice is worth the squeeze, in my opinion. Zons is fantastic. Its flame damage ability is fantastic, easy to proc, and it's generally also really cool to watch if you're a new player, seeing all the damage that you're doing being tethered to a boss in front of you. If you want to take this time to farm out some amazing trial sets, Perfected Coral Riptide, obviously you get the unperfected version too. Coral Riptide is just the best, in my opinion, damage set right now. I don't think that's going anywhere for update 47. And even if it did, it's still going to be firmly in the S tier. Even if it's not the best of the best, it's still going to be very high up there. So this is a great set to go and get if you're interested in running trials during your free trial period. And Coral Riptide is not necessarily from Dreadsail Reef a hard set to get, because a lot of people are farming it and you don't need crazy DPS to get through it on its normal difficulty. Similar to Lucient Citadel's Null Arca is also a very popular set that you could go farm from Lucient Citadel. Again, it gets farmed pretty consistently inside the group finder, or well, the fake group finder, the friend finder basically. And again, you don't need to get it in perfected. You're only getting a slight bonus by getting it perfected. And Lucient Citadel, again, is farmed very frequently, and it's going to be one of the best DPS sets for a long, long time. Another good byproduct of running Dreadsail Reef is you're going to be able to get Whirl of the Depths as a good set as well. You could also go get some Reliquin from Cloud's Rest if you want to go farm that. And I do recognize that most of these are trial content. These are generally considered the best PvE sets in the game, because you would hope that they would come from a trial, because that's how scaling is supposed to work. The best PvE content is supposed to come from the hardest PvE content. Therefore, it's rewarding to go do. So that's kind of the trials I would focus on. Cloud Rest, Lucient Citadel, as well as Dreadsail Wreath. But some kind of blast from the past sets that would definitely give you the ability to go farm those bad boys relatively easily is Pillar of Nirn. Will get you to the ability to farm any trial on normal content, probably even potentially even higher than that, because Pillar of Nirn is a crazy damage output set. It's not the S plus tier set that it used to be. It has been nerfed a little bit, but from Folkreath Hold, it's a great set to go farm. And as a final suggestion for kind of flexing, I would suggest Scrivener's Hall's Rune Carver's Blaze. Now, a lot of you might be thinking to yourself, Jake, why aren't you recommending more PvE sets? Well, it's because there's a lot of really good craftable ones, like Order's Wrath is pretty fantastic to run. And so you don't need to have PvE content to get all of these. These are really just the high-end content. I'm not going to recommend that you go get a B and a C tier set with your ESO Plus. And if you use any of these sets, Rune Carvers with Order's Wrath, or really just any sort of decent PvE setup, you're going to be able to go farm normal trials relatively easily, because normal trials, it's more about understanding mechanics. And with subclassing, your sets don't really matter as much because now you can get a lot of unique bonuses and things literally just from your skills setup. And all of that's going to be base game. And that general thought is actually even more prevalent for PvP content. Yeah, sets like Rush of Agony are dungeon sets, but the majority of really good PvP sets, except for the Mythics that we talked about earlier, which Monomyth unfortunately is a Solstice specific one, so it would not be in the free trial. Most of those are going to be things that you could just craft or find in the overworld or just get with PvP coffers like Rallying Cry. All of the S tier sets are really going to be minus Rush of Agony, but this is really just more of a really annoying set that you're going to run into. They're going to be found in very easy to get places, and to my knowledge that was done by design for PvP players. Unless you want Torque of the Iliad King, then RIP, you're never going to get the Torque of the Iliad King. Also, obviously, just remember that you can utilize the craft bag, which is very helpful, so throw all your bad Mamma Jamma stuff in there, especially if you've been using guild banks or personal banks. Now's the time to just chuck all that stuff in that bad Mamma Jamma. Keep yourself from having to deal with that. You will potentially need to flick on a setting to put items in there. And I also just learned that for jewelry crafting writs, once you lose the Somerset DLC, you actually have to then go and you can't craft jewelry anymore, but other people can craft the jewelry for you, which is odd. Just keep that in mind. But it's worth doing for the time period that you have ESO+. Plus, you can also utilize your gold to buy the Somerset DLC with crowns if somebody's willing to sell it to you. Again, you could join a trade guild. For those of you who don't know what that looks like, you can usually even see the crown sellers listed in people's messages of the day and other information here, making it very easy to figure out who sells crowns and that they're obviously not going to scam you. Now, these are some suggestions from viewers like you who said that you should use this time period to go sky shard hunting, because if you're subclassing, being able to go sky shard hunting is very helpful. And if you do the public dungeon in whatever new zone you're in, you're also getting yourself a free skill point. People love skill points. Skill points make the world go round, and they give you the ability to do subclass with significantly less stress on yourself. And as you farm these resources, I would recommend zones like Craglorn or other zones that have extra drops attached to them. You could also consider zones like Vardenfell for the same reason. I think, though, value-wise, Craglorn is the best zone to do this, and I know it's technically not a DLC zone, so you're like, Jake, this is not an ESO Plus recommendation. I know, but it will give you potent Urn Cruxes, which are usually the best-selling of all of the extra, resource dropping things that exist. But if you have more tips, put them in the comments below, because there is so much that you can do with ESO Plus active. It's hard to really point every type of player, PvP, PvE, solo, everybody in different directions, because you could go farm Vatestrand Arena. Now's the time that you don't need access to have the Reach purchased. You could go farm it. Really, the only perfected ice staff is the only thing that's decent from there, but now's time you could go do that. There are so many dungeons that you could do. Even if the sets aren't necessarily good, you complete the dungeon, at least you get a skill point. And even if the sets aren't good, you still did something fun and unique and different that you can't do if you don't have the trial active. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think, because if this needs to be an updated video, if you guys want more information on things to do, let me know in the comments below. But hopefully this has been decently all-encompassing for you. And as always, if you leave a comments below, you're entered in one of 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do is like the video, leave a comment, be subscribed, and look for hidden word we flash upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. We do our drawings at the end of the month, but we also will potentially do one on Twitch later, because we're going to be going live, because we have the exclusive drop active. So after my workday ends, we'll be going live on Twitch, and we could talk more about this as well, because there is just so much to consider. If you said, hey, Jake, I now have tens of thousands of new content hours of things to do, what should I do? I'd be like, a lot. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.